Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's April 10th, 2017. They've rolled back out the Dylann Storm Roof white supremacist Charleston church shooting propaganda by the numbers today, April 10th, 2017, with supposedly Dylann Storm Roof entering a plea. I'm going to show you why this fake news is taking place today. If you're someone who's watching the TV and watching this and going, this isn't fake news, I see it on the TV. Let's just listen real quick. Here it is going on right now.
I think he should have death. If 9 people is dead, plus their family are miserable from missing them, then we don't need to look after his face on TV every time they want to talk about him.
So that was perfect to come in right at that point. This is going on live. You heard that woman saying he deserves death. On December 15th, he was sentenced to death, 2016. Now here we are, April 10th, and supposedly he's entered a plea today. So they have the families there that supposedly are of the victims who were killed June 17th, 2015. And, they're saying, like what you just heard that woman said, he killed all these people in a church, he deserves to die. Isn't that the Christian way? You got these supposed Christians calling an eye for an eye. But understand, this is all fake news. These people who are going up and speaking, they are actors, they are liars, they are paid for disinfo. That's why they're showing this camera from the back of the room and all you're seeing is everyone's backs. You have no idea who any of these people are. I haven't seen a single person's face. Everyone who's coming up there, all you see is their back. Every single one. Haven't seen a face. So check this out. Check this out. This is why this is really happening today. As I've explained from day one, it's all about the number 74. It's Masonic propaganda on the TV, in the mainstream. Its purpose is divide and conquer, torment, disturb, annoy, provoke. This is the frequency that always comes through the television, whether it's Dylann Storm Roof or something else. It's always fear, it's always a killer, it's always a disease, it's always something wrong. Now check this out. Dylann Storm Roof, his supposed name in gematria, a ridiculous name, sums to 74, just like white supremacist. Today, April 10th, is the 100th day of the year. The word 100 equals 74, just like plea. Here we have a plea on April 10th, the 100th day of the year, by Dylann Storm Roof. And we just heard that woman say, I want this kid's face off the TV. The only reason this kid's face is on the TV is because there's this made-for-TV propaganda meant to provoke the nation, coming straight out of South Carolina where the Civil War began. Civil War began in Charleston, where this church shooting began. Little history lesson. Civil War in gematria sums to 43, just like Charleston. Civil War, Charleston. Just as it was then, the news, the stories, they were manufactured by Freemasons for the sake of controlling the population. It's no different today. News, wars, manufactured by the numbers, the same thing goes on today. Remember, there was the shooting of Walter Scott. Let me take you back down memory lane. There was the shooting of Walter Scott in Charleston on April 4th, 2015 by the police officer Michael Slager. Remember, he shot him in the back. That was the anniversary of the death of Martin Luther King Jr., the 47-year anniversary. The Freemason compass set at 47 degrees. The Charleston church shooting happened June 17th, 2015. That's exactly 74 days later, with this incident with 74 stamped all over it. The number of the Freemasons, the dividers, divide and conquer, order out of chaos. Notice Masonic also has the 43 gematria, like Charleston, like Civil War. Look up what day Dylann Storm Roof's birthday, or better yet, I'll just do it for you. Dylann Storm Roof birthday. It's April 3rd. Watch this. April 3rd, 4/3. You see how they do this? This is a made-up for TV character. This person could have, a disability. They often seem like they're disabled. Either that or, they're just doing a good job acting. But look at this. More news by the numbers. I want to take you back to Walter Scott real quick, too. Walter Scott equals 156. Watch what happens when we write out South Carolina in the same method. 156. And that number goes back to 33, number of masonry, number used in false flag propaganda that the police often respond or participate in. Police, 33. You know, the officer's name was Michael. Think about the Rodney King beating on March 3rd. LAPD, 33, like police. Race war, 33. You see, this is what's going on. Dylann Storm Roof got a 33-count federal indictment. You see? So anyhow, we've covered the Dylann Storm Roof plea part. Now let's get into some other interesting things. June 17th, 2015, the date of the incident, a date with 58 numerology. Very special number to Freemasonry, again, that believes in divide and conquer, order out of chaos. Freemasonry, 58. Secret Society, 58. You know? Whole bunch of other things. Learn about Freemasonry. Influenced by the Rosicrucians in the 1600s, they were known as the Rose Cross. Freemasonry based in the history of Solomon's Temple. You know, temple, church shooting, date with 58 numerology. Solomon's Temple, a story of divisiveness. So is this. You see? From the date of the church shooting to today is 94 weeks and some days. And now we're getting another guilty plea. Dylann Storm Roof pleading guilty so that he can get a lesser charge than death. Guilty has the gematria of 94. If you forget what's important about 94, we'll cover it in a second. Today's date also has the 51 numerology. This is part of a federal conspiracy, part of an ongoing agenda of dividing people among race, religion, spirituality, and everything else we can be divided over. You know, the media programs fear and divisiveness. Federal 51, Conspiracy 51, think about Area 51. When you write out 94, it also sums to 147, like Freemasonry, like conspiracy, and so many other things. At the White House, you know, a building named in a town named after George Washington, the 33rd degree Freemason. At the White House, there's 147 windows. Look at the gematria of President of the United States. 147. And why did they make 147 windows? 74. You know, George Washington, 74. The Freemasons stamped their things, you know, with certain numbers. 74 is a special number. 7 represents complete. 4 represents foundation. 7 is the 4th prime number. Again, the Freemason compass is set at 47 degrees. The Freemasons have 47th problem of Euclid about how to establish foundation. Foundation 47. You create the foundation by using the pole star, also known as the North Star. These numbers are boss, you know what I mean? We just saw the naming of the 9th Supreme Court Justice on April 7th. Judge, gavel, obey, you know, named by the President is the Supreme Court. Look at the name Trump, who was in the 47-story Midtown Hilton Hotel the night of the election, you know. Also, after the Dylann Storm Roof shooting, you might recall that the Black Panther Party showed up outside the church. Black Panther Party, Masonic-controlled opposition from the beginning. Black Panther Party 74. The new Black Panther Party, which is what they truly are, was established in 89, the year Huey P. Newton died. On August 22nd, the word death has gematria of 228. So does United States of America. So does Martin Luther King Jr. This whole 58 thing, by the way, the shooting being on a date with 58 numerology and the Black Panther Party showing up, Huey P. Newton equals 58. He set up the Black Panther Party in Oakland, 58. A lot of people think the BPP is authentic. It's not. Nation of Islam, a lot of people know, was created by Freemasonry. Nation of Islam, 58 as well, you know. Freemasonry has its hands in a lot of things because it's all about control. You got to control the opposition. You got to steer the people. It was December 15th that they found Dylann Storm Roof guilty. That was a date that had a lot of racism connections. Let's not forget about Clementa Pinckney, the state politician who supposedly died with the 43 name, a name that goes back to the original governorship of the Carolinas, slaveholders. Pinckney was calling for more cameras in South Carolina, more city funding for cameras before his death, helping build the police state, which this news factors into. Notice Storm Roof was also born in 94, on April 3rd. 94 weeks later, he's guilty. Talked about 94. Church shooter guilty equals 102, like slavery. The Civil War began April 12th, 1861, the 102nd day of the year. Here we are 2 days before that anniversary. Ended on May 9th. The word slave equals 59. The word Negro equals 59. The word blues equals 59. The word Rasta. Belgian Congo equals 59. They say Belgian Congo, 1959, where AIDS originated, a disease targeting black people. Motown Records opened in 59. The two numbers coded on black people throughout history are 59 and 42. If you write out 5, it sums to 42. Just like if you write out 9, no other numbers do. February, Black History Month, 42, ends on the 59th day of the year. The awkward 28th day ending, that's the 59th day of the year, 31 days in January plus 28 more in February, 42:59. Think about the slang term brothers. Think about this leader, Martin, or the TV show where his apartment number is 42. Think about this leader. Think about this word. Martin, Malcolm X, slavery, all 42. Think about this word. 42. You see Russell Westbrook just set the record with 42 triple-doubles yesterday. If you missed my video on that, I left out this part because I've talked about it so many times and it hurts so many people's feelings. Notice that word also has reverse ordinal gematria of 102, like slavery, and the Civil War began on the 102nd day of the year. Oscar Robertson, who he tied the record of yesterday, Oscar Robertson has a record of 181 triple-doubles, which is the 42nd prime. You know why this all is? Because the whole time, Freemasons and Zionist Jews have been controlling professional sports, doing it by the numbers, the same way they create their false propaganda news. It's all about controlling the mind's eye of the masses. And look at who controls the NBA. Zionist Jews, who always name themselves accordingly. Right now it's Adam Silver. Silver, a good name to be the commissioner of basketball. I could go on all day, Truth Seeker. Truly. There's so much here to talk about. So I'll link these blog posts down below. Notice Rodney King, who was beat on March 3rd, died on June 17th. 3-year anniversary before the church shooting. He died at age 47. We had a shooting at the Bible study class. Christian Authority Framework Foundation. You get it. I forgot to mention the shooting was on Calhoun Street. The address was 110 Calhoun Street. Reminded me of September 11th. The 110-story World Trade Center is on the 74th meridian. Building 7 of 47 floors. Look at these bogus news stories. If you've ever been arrested and put in a holding cell, you don't stand in there with officers. They throw you in the holding cell by yourself. You have to change your clothes in here, then they put you out in whatever jail cell or jail block they're going to put you in. Dylann Roof to stand trial. This was November 25th, 2016. Date with 52 numerology, just like the shortened name Dylann Roof. They said he was facing the Hate Crime Act. See how this all works out so perfectly? Charleston with the S exceptions, 52. Got a lot of videos, a lot of blog posts on Dylann Storm Roof. I must have over 10 hours of video content and hundreds of blog posts on all the Dylann Storm Roof propaganda by the numbers. I thought it was done, but here they had to bring it back on the right day for a plea. You know what I mean? It never ends. They just want to keep putting this out in front of people's faces. It was amazing how when I unmuted that woman, she was talking about that. Honestly, Truth Seeker, for all of you who hate me because I'm not a Christian, I've always said I'm a spiritual person. I believe in God. I fight the good fight. Christianity has these same numbers of Masonic control. New Testament 42, 42 generations to Jesus, 42-line Bibles, Jesus equals 74, cross 74, Messiah 74, gospel 74. There's something up, I think as a people, we all need to just start abiding by common sense. You know, believe in God. You know, treat your fellow man right. Think for yourself. Don't get outraged where, you know, people disagree over things. The powers that shouldn't be, they prey on all of our differences and they use them against us. And anytime you align yourself with one of those groups, you know, you fit into their game plan. I'm trying to show how their game plan works and break it all down so people stop fighting and dividing over nonsense. But anyway, the point I was going to make, I think that because I've been fighting this fight for so long, I think, you know, God is watching us. And God, around the time I turned 30, gave me a little help. Showed me gematria. Showed me how to expose what I'd already been trying to expose. Further, this knowledge. Here, before we go, let's just hear if anything interesting is going on. I see that they're standing. They got Dylann in the stripes. I don't know, Truth Seeker, is it worth waiting? It's like the judge. The judge is coming up on something. Well, we'll see the headline later, Truth Seeker. I got to wrap this video up. I am writing the book. That's the project for the rest of the day. So just know, you know, these types of productions, completely manufactured. All these people are selling us out. This might very well be a real judge. But remember, Freemasonry is running the show. You know, speaking of which, court, Gematria 58, like Freemasonry, you know. One more lesson, Truth Seeker. Here, I'll keep the volume up in case they do something. But here's the lesson while we wait. July 4th, birthday, right? Holiday equals 74, just like Independence Day. This is an English-speaking nation. English 74, just like Gematria. And again, Masonic 74, like Jewish, like occult. What we're doing is known as, in part, Kabbalism. This also involves the tree of life. This nation, established by these numbers, ruled by these numbers up to the present, you learn this language, you see through what's going on. Alphabetic order. Yeah, Truth Seeker, we could end up here all day. We'll see what the headline is. Maybe they'll reduce his sentence. Oh yeah, the more I talk, the more I remember. Remember how people were outraged that he got to eat at Burger King after he was arrested? Somebody came out and said, Trayvon Martin didn't get to eat at Burger King. That was a quote in the paper. Trayvon Martin buried on March 3rd. TM his initials. But just like Burger King 58, they're just punking us. With regards to TM, buried on March 3rd, TM 33, his killer was GZ, George Zimmerman.
When I was addressing the victims earlier and talking about Dylann Roof is a crazy, insane act, I'm talking about the layperson insane. I'm not referring to any insanity defense, legal defense, which is different from the layperson's opinion. I think it's just a crazy, unexplainable act, and that's what the court was referring to, but I do sympathize with your loss. Indictment number 04115, Sun State Department Pressure Period of Life, that's consecutive. Indictment number 04116, Sun State Department Pressure Period of Life, that's consecutive. Indictment number 0411, Sun State Department Period of Life, that's consecutive. Indictment number 04118, Sun State Department Pressure Period of Life, that's consecutive. Indictment number 04119, Sun State Department Pressure Period of Life, that's consecutive. Indictment number 4120, Sun State Department for Life, that's consecutive. Indictment number 04121, that's Sun State Department Pressure of Life, that's consecutive. Indictment number 04122, Sun State Department of Correction for life, that's consecutive. Indictment number 04123, Sun State Department of Correction for life, that's consecutive. Indictment number 0186, that's attempted murder, Sun State Department of Correction for 30 years, that's consecutive. Indictment number 04187, that's attempted murder, Sun State Department of Correction for 30 years, that's consecutive. Indictment number 04188, that's Sun State Department of Correction for 30 years, that's consecutive. And on the attempted gun charge, Sun State Department 0 time. Anything else from the state or defendant? No, Your Honor. Court is adjourned for. Thank you very much.
Well, that was disappointing. So is there a change? I thought he was getting sentenced to death. All he said was the word consecutive a lot. Then they go right to the time. 224, huh? If you take the number 84, all the numbers that divide into it, it sums to 224, United States of America 84. Read the book 1984. Wonder if that's even part of the tribute. Well, since we watched that and that was like a waste of time, I'll give you something good. You know, so many of us in this world, we bow down to people because they wear a costume. You know, a costume or a uniform. You notice this gematria of 96 up here? 96, number of the Freemasons. This is how they govern over us. A big theater show. And, you know, every day when we go out in this world, we're participating in the ongoing spectacle. And so many of us bow down to this authority who wear these costumes and these uniforms. These people aren't anything. They're not to be respected. You know, you want to bring justice back to this world. You want to bring sanity back to this world. We have to tear this world down. We need to get rid of this court system, this judge, this jury. This is all corruption. This is all bullshit. This is all authority exploiting us. You want justice in this world? Restore power to the people who can protect themselves and take care of the threats in their own world. You know, we live in this world because that's full of morons and assholes and pieces of shit that rip people off. If we lived in the Wild West, you know, it wouldn't be all, everything about the Wild West wouldn't be better either, but you wouldn't see a world full of assholes and, you know, the types of people who go through this world ripping people off because they're protected by the system, because nobody can protect themselves or do anything about it. It's like me. I live across the street from a guy who helped rip off my house. Ripped off my house after I helped him out. A man who's 30 years older than me, you know. He rips me off, steals a ton, you know, a lifetime's worth of work from me, and then goes out and buys the same vehicle as me. A psychopath move. You know, I know that I live in a world where I can't react or I'm going to end up in a prison cell, so for the first time in my life, I try to get the police to help me. Man, the police don't even lift a finger. This guy who rips my house off goes out and files a restraining order against me to protect himself, and I hadn't even threatened him. But he just, you know, he's getting a step ahead of the game. He knows he ripped me off, and I'm aware of it. Goes out and files a restraining order. I have to go to court, you know, waste my time. I explained to the judge that, you know, there's an active investigation into a robbery in my house, burglary. This man looking like the likely party responsible. What's the judge do? The judge upholds the restraining order. Then this guy starts messing with me and trying to provoke me every day, abusing his power. See, you can do that if you have a restraining order. You can F with the other person. It's just that they can't do anything back. So think about that. This is the world we live in. You can get robbed by your neighbor. Your neighbor can go out and use the courts to protect themselves. And meanwhile, the authority that's there to help you, they won't really do anything. See, that's not the way the world's supposed to be. In the world, the real world, the world we live in that's maintained from being sane by the powers that shouldn't be, in an organic world, you know what? That man robbed me. I'm younger. I'm in a lot better shape. I'm a real threat to that guy, you know? I could go over there, have his head, and then claim his house for mine. You know what? You shouldn't have robbed me because now I have my house and I have your house. And in the Wild West, that's the way it would be. And you know what? That would be just. You want to rob your neighbor who helps you out? You deserve to be buried in the ground. You deserve to have your home taken from you. That's justice. I'd give his house to some homeless people or some friends who are hurting, Then I could live across the street from some friends who are no longer hurting, and now there's not a threat across the street. That's just organic. That's the way the world's supposed to be. Now, in this world, what happens is you can't get justice and you have to be provoked by the powers that shouldn't be. They're trying to provoke you to get you to act out so that they can lock you up and get fees off you and use you for slave labor. This number just doesn't apply to black people. It applies to everyone who was born here. We're living under banker tyrant slavery. We're living in the land of injustice. And we're living in the land where we can't get free because people are coddled by the little gimmicks from the powers that shouldn't be. A little rigged sports game, a little alcohol, a little sugar, some ladies with big boobs on TV. Now you're all pacified. Now you're all okay with it. All right, Truth Seeker, I'm done. Until next time.